Hey guys, how you doing? Wilton Flex here, and today's video is about sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, training for muscle size, versus myofibrillar hypertrophy, training for muscle strength. Alright, so my first point will be they are not the same, and we will see why. The second point will be the margin between them is small, but it is significant. Number three will be the biggest factor that will affect both of them. Number four, the effect of that factor on progressive overload. And number five, the conclusion, how you can incorporate both, but there will be a drawback. So starting off, obviously, they are not the same. And that's usually because hypertrophy, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, so training for muscle size, occurs in rep ranges of 5 to 20. While myofibrillar hypertrophy, training for muscle strength, occurs in rep ranges of 3 to 6. Now, when you're training for strength, you're looking for nervous system adaptation, right? Or in other words, neuromuscular efficiency. Right? So basically, you're just trying to have the body recruit as many muscle fibers at once in order to produce enough force, right? A really good example of this is world champion powerlifter Steffi Cohen. She's 125 pounds, but she deadlifted 495 pounds. How is this possible? Because the term mass moves mass is very overrated, and you want to look at it more as energy moves energy, right? That's how she's able to do this. So you don't need to be absurdly huge muscularly in order to be strong, right? Now, if we look at, for example, bodybuilding, right? You're looking more for isolation, right? If you're trying to grow a muscle, you're trying to isolate that muscle, create as many micro tears as you can, make it adapt for it to then grow a bigger muscle cell. That's basically the whole idea between the two. Because of the margin being small due to the rep ranges, you're introduced with progressive overload. Now, progressive overload is pretty much just putting more weight on the bar over time. So literally the only way to get stronger is to lift heavier weight over time. Now, what happens when you do this? The weight is going to be too heavy for you to do multiple reps, and it's going to be way too taxing on your nervous system. So mixing the two is really not a good idea, and we'll touch on that later. So now, the biggest factor between them two is fatigue accumulation. Over time, doing a powerlifting program, pure strength, you'll accumulate so much fatigue that if you're incorporating all these other little things throughout the week, like a bunch of sarcoplasmic training, 70 to 80%, is going to just be way too taxing on your nervous system over the weeks, and you're gonna end up probably getting injured, or two worse, you're not gonna hit, the high number that you're trying to hit on your squat, bench, or deadlift, which internally kind of doesn't make any sense, because now you're getting submaximal gains muscularly, and you're getting submaximal gains strength-wise, right? And then, like I mentioned before, it affects the overload, because now, because the rep ranges are going down, and you're still trying to incorporate that, and then the weight of on the bar is going higher and higher and higher, there's more risk for injury, and you're probably not going to recover from that. Another very important factor when talking about muscle strength versus muscle size is exercise selection. Exercise selection is very important, because now you're looking at, in order to get better at a squat, you're gonna have to squat. If you look at a bodybuilder physically versus a powerlifter physically, they look very different. And if you look at their training, it's very different, right? So a bodybuilder doesn't have to come in and hit compounds every week. It's not even necessary, right? He can come in and do leg press, he can come in and do leg extension and isolate that muscle. While a powerlifter is not going to get better at powerlifting if he just does leg extensions and leg presses. He needs to do what he needs to do, or she needs to do what he needs to do, which is to be under the barbell consistently. So another great way to look at that is, if you look at, for example, a powerlifter, right, his strength program eventually is going to hit 95%, right, for a few heavy sets. That's extremely taxing on the nervous system. A bodybuilder never has to go to that point. Right? A bodybuilder can keep it 70 to 80%. Let's say he comes in and does 3 sets of 10, and it's kind of heavy. They beat him up a little bit. He can come in the next day, drop down the percentage, 75, whatever it is, and he's gonna do 12 to 15 reps and he's gonna make gains. But a powerlifter can't continue to train in those zones because it's not gonna make him stronger. You know what I mean? Like I said, progressive overload rules all. Also, specificity rules all. You know what I mean? If you dabble between the two, you're just gonna be a jack of all trades but a master of none, right? So I would say pick one, you know what I mean? Optimize it. Pick one, optimize it. So basically, you know, you pick one, you go all out in it, get the most gains you can out of it, pick, or, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? So now, how do we incorporate both of these things? Simple. You can do this. You can train in blocks. First block can be 4 to 6 weeks, pure strength. Then transition into hypertrophy block, 4 to 6 weeks. And then throw in a deload in between, obviously, you know what I mean, to let your body just, you know, come back to a nice baseline where you don't have no potential for injuries, and then you can just keep doing that. Now the drawback with that is you're not going to see maximum gain in any. So technically you'll be a jack of all trades but a master of none. You'll be sub-maximally strong and sub-maximally big. So like I said, guys, specificity is key. If you want to get bigger, train to get bigger. If you want to get stronger, train to get stronger, right? They're two completely different things. If you want to be in the middle, that's fine. But remember, if you're in the middle and you're kind of like going back and forth between the two, you're leaving a lot of gains on the table for both. So that's pretty much it, guys. You know, I kept it short and sweet. I kept it simple. I hope this helps you, you know, to make the decision on what kind of training route you want to go down, with training for strength or training for muscle size, or if you simply just want to be in the middle and have a little bit of both, that's fine too. It's all up to you guys, right? With that being said, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell notification for any new videos coming up. With that being said, Willie Flex is out.